lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels well enough, just remember. Just remember. Just remember.
The Esports Broadcasting Network proudly presents Championship IndyCar Racing live from Twin Ring Motegi. It's the Majors Japan Indy 300. Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you tonight, joined with me by my partner in crime, who's going to be in and out, being as he is in the middle of a real-life move. Mr. John Leach. And John, I don't know about you, but I'm excited about this one. IndyCar Racing on ESPN has a storied history.
Yeah, whenever we are calling Indy races, it's always a lot of fun. In fact, we called one here together, like a month ago, and it was a blast, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely, from Pocono.
And I think we did one at Twin Ring Motegi as well on that Sim Racers Edge, I thought it was.
You were, I wasn't. Unfortunately, that was the day that I had my surgery. So.
Oh, okay, my mistake. Well, either way, this one's a fun one, and I look forward to it. And Tony's always been an excellent voice for you guys. But anyway, you got 20 seconds to the grid, Tony. I think it's time to go ahead and pull that race info screen up. We can talk about that, and before I pretty much hand the reins over to you.
Absolutely. As a little quick look here, just under a mile and a half here at Motegi, 79-degree ambient air temperature, track temperature 117 degrees, so it's going to be hot and greasy out there. 10-mile-an-hour winds out of the north, so they're going to be facing that directly down the back chute here. As one fast repair, and we are just waiting for the grid to start happening here. So there goes that, and here we go for the grid. Brian Halleck and Ozzie Milwain, number 1 and number 2 in points, going to be starting on row number 1. Ethan Osowski and Maurice Gamillion going to be starting off in row number 2. Row 3 gives us Mike Broomhead and Robert Deloche. Joe Hoffman and Joey Hayes going to be rolling off in row 4, with row 5 going to Matt Gelder and Mike Lane. Mark Mcfadden and Brian Scrivener are going to be starting in row 6, and I did not hit the right button there. Bear with me here. Row 6 is going to give us McFadden and Scrivener. 7 is going to see Robert Covey and Brett Trauson. Jonathan Diggs and Ernie Ludwig in row 8. Row 9 gives us Tim Klaus and Jeremy Morrison. Row number 10 is going to give us Jason McSparron and Steve Paulsen. James Doherty and Mike Oliette going to be rolling off in row 11, with row 12 giving us Don Dolson and Dan Davis. Javier Torres and Greg McKinney going to be rolling off in row 13. Row 14 is going to be Gerald Gilbert and Ron McPherson. Row 15, Dino Vella and Rob Courtney, and Chris Sherburne and Anthony Scuttle starting shotgun on the field. As the field working its way around the track right now behind the pace car. 200 laps, the scheduled distance here tonight as the field working its way into the 3-4 complex. As Halleck going to have the button, Ozzie Milwayne going to be starting to his outside. Now those two have been pretty much the class of the field all season long. As the field coming out of turn number 4, about the only thing that's left to do is wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point safety harness, make sure the steering wheel's on nice and tight as the field works its way out of turn number 4. Race fans, it's showtime! Green flag comes out. Halleck and Osowski getting a great jump. Milwayne dropping back into the number 3 spot. Gamillion right there, as looks like that's Deloche getting a little squirrely coming off of turn number 2. He's dropping back. That was Holman dropping back in the 54. As we got one moving on the high side. It looks like Joey Haynes in the 338. Working to the inside of the 99 of Holman. Holman trying to make some headway. He's got a teammate behind him there in the form of, I believe that's Mike Broomhead. No, that is Matt Gelder. Meanwhile, up in the front, Osowski nose to tail right on the back trans tunnel. Ozzie Milwayne right there on Osowski, that is. That is your battle for second, hot and heavy as they work through 1 and 2 one more time. Osowski showing the way, Milwayne right behind him. Halleck, though, out to almost a full second lead already as we are working lap 3 of 200. Here comes Milwayne to the inside of Osowski. Osowski battling back on the high side. Almost contact in the middle of 3 and 4. And Milwayne wisely dropping back. A little too early to be running that hard, rubbing tires already, as these cars definitely, you cannot rub fenders. Of course, there are no fenders to rub, but if you make wheel-to-wheel contact, somebody's going for Mr. Toad's Wild Ride tonight. Battle heating up back in the number 5 spot. That's Robert Deloche having to deal with Joey Haynes working on Deloche right now. As here comes Broomhead as well to follow his teammate through. Not able to make it happen quite yet as Deloche holding strong on that second lane. Here comes Broomhead to the inside through 1 and 2. Full send it mode for the 54. That is your battle for 6th. Just hot and heavy right now. Field getting a little strung out as still your battle for second, pretty close. We've got Joseph Hoffman working on Deloche right now. Deloche not having a good time of it yet. Not happy with the way that car is handling. Now, there are in-car adjustments that the drivers can make. The only problem is not a lot of guys have a lot of seat time in this old Indy car. And I say old, this is the old IR05. iRacing calls it the Dallara 09 because that was when they scanned it. But this was the first incarnation of the Indy Racing League spec car that they came out with. And they ran it right up until the untimely death of Dan Weldon, as we had one going sideways there. I believe that was Gelder. Yes, it was. Gelder having a tough time of it. Gets onto the apron going through 1 and 2, sliding back now. But there are some in-car adjustments you can make in this. You can adjust the weight jacker and the track bars. And being familiar with how those adjustments work and what to do where will definitely help you here tonight. as slugfest right now for the, I believe that's the number 4 spot. That's Gamillion in the 44 on the high side, as Haynes and Broomfield trying to make some headway right now as they work their way by as a team. Drag race down the start finish straight, as we've got one way off the pace. I believe that's Gerald Gilbert going a lap down there. Battle for second still nose to tail as Halleck now out to a 2 1/4 lead in front of these guys in the 3, the 033 of Oswalski, and we are under caution for the first time. Looks like Anthony Butte has not had a good time of it. Come on, as we are going to see what happened to the 07. And for some reason, and there it is. Just gets it wrong coming off of 4 and just blasts the inside wall, bringing out the first caution of the night. He immediately tows it to the pits and going to have to burn that fast repair early. As, we've seen some decent battling. We've seen some guys make some headway so far. Not big moves as of yet, as this track notoriously not easy to pass on, as your leader continues to be this man, the number 3 of Brian Halleck, as Ozzy Milwane has dropped back a little bit, currently sitting in the number 3 spot. Now he does have a friendly face behind him. Going to see what type of restart we can get here, as you're going to see a lot of cars painted very similarly here tonight. Safe to assume, and yes, they are teammates. A lot of teams designating who's who by different mirrors, but you can definitely tell the difference as far as who's who between teams, with the camera pod on top of the air intake behind the driver's head. And it looks like we've got a couple takers down pit road. Sherburne, Aulette, Jeremy Morrison went pit side. So just a handful going down pit road there. Currently 2 cars a lap down. Dan Davis did not start in the 333. So 31 cars still in this piece. And this just in, Anthony Butte has put it on the hauler in the 07. So tough break for Butte. Bringing out the first caution, decided, yeah, you know what, I'm not having a good time here. We're just going to park it. So that leaves 30 of them still running here, as we are getting ready to put 11 laps in the books already. 200 the scheduled distance here tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us in the live stream. And again, thank you to Jason Sauford. Sorry I had to bail out on you early over in the other broadcasts that we had here on the ESPN Family Networks. And if you don't want to miss a single moment of action, like, favorite, subscribe, share, turn on bell notifications, because we do this just about every night of the week, sometimes double and triple headers. So you definitely don't want to miss a single broadcast, as tomorrow night we will have the Rowdy Energy Cup Series season finale from Phoenix. That is 8:20 Eastern time. You're not going to want to miss that one, as not a lot of takers so far down pit road here at Motegi for the Majors Japan Indy 300. So Brian Halleck continues to show the way. He has led from the drop of the green after setting the Red Cat quick time here tonight. Halleck, Oswalski, Milwain, Broomhead, Homan, Hayes, Gamillion, Deloche, Lane, and Matt Gelder rounding out your top 10 as the lights go out on that atrocity that iRacing calls a pace car. As we are going to restart on lap 14 of 200. Only a handful of takers down pit road so far. So, looks like Jeremy Morrison taking it down pit road just to top off with fuel. Same goes for Olliett. Mike Olliett and Chris Sherburne both doing the same. As field working its way down the back straightaway here at Motegi. Kind of an egg-shaped mile and a half, very reminiscent of what you would see at like Gateway, only oriented backwards, if you will, where at Gateway 3 and 4 are the sweeper and 1 and 2 are the tighter portion. Here 3 and 4 are the tighter portion and 1 and 2 are the sweeper. As a pace car gets ready to peel on off, the field runs into the Red Cat restart zone, and wasting absolutely no time, Brian Halleck pulls the trigger and gets a 4, 5, 6, 7 car length jump over Ethan Osowski. Milwain all over the trans tunnel of Osowski, though, trying to make some headway as they work their way out of 2 and down the back straightaway. That is your battle for second, hot and heavy. Osowski protects the inside. Milwain going to have to do it the hard way, if at all. Here we go. Full send-it mode for both drivers going through 3 and 4. And Milwain going to pinch Osowski down. Osowski just 0 Fs given. Jumps up in front of Milwain. Milwain now gets to the inside, sends it going through 1 and 2, and is able to wrestle to a second spot away from Osowski. Using the draft down the front straightaway to perfection. Osowski going to battle back, going through down the back straightaway now. Here we go. Battle for second, just turning into a complete slugfest as Osowski runs Milwain up the track. Here comes Broomhead. Whoa, big twitch coming out of 4 for Broomhead as 0 grip on that low lane. That was one thing we were warned about coming into tonight is the low lane. You've got to really wait till you can see the full straightaway before you pull the trigger, because it is going to be a rough one for you otherwise. Halleck, Osowski, Milwain, Homan up into the number 4 spot in the 99. As they are starting to rekindle this one, as we've got a battle right now for, I believe that's 7th. Yes, it is. 3-car slugfest between Gamillion, Deloche, and Gelder. Right now, Deloche has it, or Gamillion has it. Deloche wants it. Gelder wants it even more. These guys going hammer and tongs in the midfield. A little bit behind them, that's Robert Covey having to defend against Tim Klaus in the 80. As Covey goes high, that's going to leave the door open for Klaus to get a run on him down the front chute, as they're both in the draft of one of the Canadian contingent here tonight, Mark Mcfadden in the 00. I'm sorry, that's not Mcfadden. That was Scrivener in the 70. Meanwhile, back up towards the front, that battle for second rekindles as now they are stem to stern. That's Osowski, Milwain, and Homan running nose to tail as they come out of turn number 4 and down the front chute. Osowski able to lay the power down with a little more aggression than Milwain was, able to get a little bit of a lead on him now. Halleck continues to show the way, 2.5 seconds to the good over his teammate. And I'm not going to say team orders are in effect, but with the points battle as tight as it is between Halleck and Milwain, that team doing everything they can to try to help Brian confirm the championship here tonight, as it's still a slugfest going on in the mid-pack, as we've got Matt Gelder in the 69 working on, Gelder and Deloche going hammer and tongs at it. That's Deloche in the 235 as, wow, Gelder gets it way wrong going through 3, slides up the track, and we are under caution. We've got just melee here, complete carnage. As looks like Scrivener, let's see what happened here to start this piece. Scrivener was the first one to get it wrong. And just, oi! That was ugly. Let's take a look at what Cubby saw. And just, that's the 08 going for a wild one. Good grief. Or 80 of Tim Klaus. And then to add injury to insult, oy vey. And Klaus put it out of the park. So that brings out caution number 2. Dino Vetta had plenty of time to slow down for this one. Unfortunately, didn't realize what was going on and just, ouch. So there's a few more drivers that are going to have to burn their fast repairs here. Yikes. So that brings out caution number 2, working lap little strategery going on there. Working lap 23 now, 22 laps in the books. Halleck and Osowski feigned going down pit road. And so we've got a huge team battle going on right now. You've got Milwaukee, Broomhead, and Haynes in a sandwich with Halleck, Osowski in front of them, Milligan and Deloche behind them. So tell me Team Motors aren't in effect tonight, and I'll call you a liar to your face, I promise. But let us know who you're pulling for, not just in the race, but in the championship here as season coming to an end. This is going to be our last broadcast with the Majors Series. Okay. Anyways, sorry about that, folks. Just handling a troll in the live chat. Let us know who you're pulling for. Are you Team Halleck or are you Team Milwaukee? We'd love to hear from you. Again, we got to thank our good friends over at Red Cat Racing for bringing you the Red Cat Restart Zone as well as the Red Cat Quick Time Award. As the lights continue to go on the iRacing pace car. And again, you are watching the Indy Japan 300 brought to you by the Majors. For those of you unfamiliar with this series, they run a couple times a month in a different car track combination every time. These folks have been in everything from super late models to pavement modifieds. They have run Miatas. They have run prototypes. They have run stock cars. They have run Indy cars. Matter of fact, we did their Indy 500 using the current Dallara 2018, or the IR18 as they call it. But these guys, to win a majors championship, this is the American Sportsman division. To win a championship in the majors, you have to be very competent in all aspects of racing. They have run on the dirt, they have run on the pavement, they have run on road courses, big, small, ovals, doesn't matter. They do it just about everything you can imagine in iRacing they will do. As the lights go out on the pace car, Halleck going to have the button again in the 3. Now he can pull the trigger as soon as the pace car leaves the racing surface. He's got some friendly faces behind him in the form of Ethan Osowski, as big Canadian contingent behind him, as that's Milwain, Broomhead, and Haynes running third, fourth, and fifth. As the field working its way down the back straightaway, looks like Halleck looking to get a good jump this time, as it is illegal to pass to the inside before the start-finish line. As a little bit of gamesmanship being played from the looks of it. Osowski starts to close the gap a little bit, leaves a little bit of a gap there, as not going to be making very many friends as the field working its way through 3 and 4. Halleck going to have the button. Pace car peels on off. Halleck can pull the trigger when he feels like it as they get into the Red Cat restart zone. Halleck holds him down, and we've got some stack up behind him. Oi! Got one around already and into the wall. It looked like Robert DeLoche getting it all wrong. Yes, it was. So DeLoche stacked it up and unfortunately had to jump on the binders as Halleck gets a good restart. As Broomhead and Haynes going into a slugfest, going through 3 and 4. The teammates doing battle. Now, these guys do have some team orders. The first team order is try not to kill each other. The second team order is, if you are going to kill each other, make damn good and sure it's Sports Center highlight. As Haynes gets by his teammate, that is for fourth. As John Diggs in the 04 making some headway now, as looks like Maurice Gamillion dropping back a little bit. And yikes, that is a very, very wounded Robert DeLoche taking it down pit side. A lot of damage, heavily right hand down in that one, as he is definitely going to have to burn his fast repair early, as these guys are hauling off into turn 1 north of 195 miles an hour. That's cooking around a mile and a half, relatively flat track like we have here at Motegi. As a little bit further back, we've got some battling going on. Looks like that Steve Paulsen and Greg Macanani going at it right now. As that's Doherty on the low side, Macanani in the purple and black car behind him. And a little bit further back, we've got Gelder, Torres, and Dolson getting into a slugfest here. As that is the 49 of Torres making it happen. Now, those of you might recognize that name if you're familiar with IndyCar racing here on ESPN, as he is part of the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series. We see that every Wednesday night. So Torres, no stranger to IndyCars, as they just had, as John mentioned in the pre-race, just had their Motegi race a couple weeks back, as he's looking to the inside of Gelder. Gelder slams the door. As Holman, Donaldson and Holman going slugfest right now. As they're 3 wide down the front straightaway. Ernie Ludwig is one of them. He's on the low side right now, trying to make it happen, as I believe the other one is Mcfadden. Yes, it is. So it's Ludwig and Mcfadden, two teammates going at it, as Mcfadden just full send-it mode going into 3. That is your battle for 17th spot. Field's starting to get a little bit strung out now, at least in the top 10, as Courtney holding down the number 16 spot, as Ludwig and Mcfadden still battling back and forth, hammer and tongs for the two teammates right now. Team Canada well represented here tonight at Motegi, as Mcfadden and Ludwig just continue this back and forth seesaw, as looks like we've got some action going on a little bit further forward. That's Macanani, Hoffman, and Gelder were going after it. Hoffman trying to make, or Holman trying to make it happen on the high side, getting a little bit better run, but Macanani in the 350, able to hang on right now. As Holman going to have to watch out because he's got his teammate right there. A little bit of a slip up as Gelder caught the apron through the middle of 1 and 2. He is now backsliding and hemorrhaging spots. A little bit further forward, your battle for 5th starting to get hot and heavy now. That's 6th, 7th, and 8th right there. Throw a blanket over them. That's John Diggs in the 04, Maurice Gamillion in the 44, and the 62 of Mike Lane, trying to make something happen right now. Big dive into 3 for the 44 Gamillion, as Diggs, a little bit smoother line. Now they're going to have to get this sorted out pretty quick, as there is a 4-second gap until they get up to 5th place. Mike Broomhead. As Broomhead leading that lead, or trailing that lead caboose. And there's Broomhead in the 54, following his teammate Joey Haynes. Bryant Halleck right now continues to show the way. 36 laps getting ready to be put in the books here, coming across the stripe. And Halleck has led every one of them from pole. Battle hot and heavy right now for 8th. That is Gamillion and Lane. Lane able to wrestle the spot away from Gamillion. Gamillion not having a good time of it in the 44 here tonight. Lane makes the pass and starts to walk away from him. And it gets back to what we were talking about earlier with the whole in-car adjustment thing. The guys that are more comfortable playing with the weight jacker, playing with the track bars, they're going to have an easier time of it, because you're going to need to make both those adjustments as the fuel starts to burn off. This car tends to get a lot tail happy, as the fuel wears off, and those adjustments are going to help keep the car under you for a little bit longer. As right now, that was a little too close for comfort. John Diggs slams the door in Mike Lane's face as they work their way out of turn number 4. Lane now having to be a little bit careful as Gamillion's starting to make some headway. And these guys are going to have to get it sorted out now, because there's 5.5 seconds of a gap all the way up to Mike Bloomfield. To the inside goes Lane, pulls alongside in the middle of 3 and 4. Who can lay the power down more effectively? Drag race down the front straightaway. That's Lane on the high side, Diggs on the high side, Lane on the low side. Lane just hugging that white line, able to wrestle the spot away. And here comes Gamillion trying to get 7th from Diggs. Diggs continuing to backslide a little bit as he now battles back, sends it in, not going to be able to make it happen as he runs up the track and almost gets into Gamillion. Gamillion has to check up. That's going to open the door for Holman in the 999. Rest of the field more strung out than a methadone clinic right now. We do have one hot and heavy, though a little bit further back. That is Matt Gelder and Rob Courtney. Gelder wrestling the spot away from Courtney. As here we go, Diggs and Hoffman. That's Hoffman on the high side, Diggs on the low side. As we saw it work for Lane, as Diggs able to get a better run going into one. Hoffman, though, able to hang tough in that second lane, carries more momentum, and wrestles the spot away going down the back straight away. Halleck comes across the stripe to put 42 of 200 in the books. Now, they do have unlimited tires here tonight. Sorry, 10 sets of tires here tonight. So not unlimited. Might just as well be, though. So 10 sets of tires, unlimited fuel. As far as it's a full boat. So they are going to have to play with that weight jacker, because if you go from full tanks to empty tanks, this car really gets tail happy, and you're going to have to be on top of it. As looks like Osowski had to chase it down the hill there, coming off of 4. Milwane kept it straight. Haynes and Broomhead both had to chase it. As that's going to let Milwane close in on the back of Osowski. Now that is your battle for second and third. As about half a straightaway to the good is Brian Halleck in the 3 in front of these guys. So Halleck, Osowski, Milwane, Haynes, Broomhead, your top 5. And a little bit further back, that's Javier Torres working to the inside of Don Dolson. As Torres not able to make it happen that time. Going to try it again here as Dolson reeling in Mcfadden as well. And there is the 00 of Mark Mcfadden. Gelder and Macanani going hammer and tongs for it. And we've got one into the wall again. That's going to bring out the caution. Looks like Rob Courtney. That's not what I wanted. This is what happened with Courtney. You see him coming through 3 and 4. It looks like he may have just tried to put the power down a little too violently and was not on top of his, yes he was not on top of his track bar adjustment, and around she goes and just blasts the pit wall. Going to be able to limp that one back to the pits from the looks of it. No, he had to tow it. That car will not steer. So Courtney going to have to tow. As we go back to live, and you can see the heavy damage on that car. As I would be greatly surprised if we didn't see wholesale pit stops this time, being as we are working currently lap 47 of 200. Excuse me. Let me pull this up here. And that's not what I wanted. So Brian Halleck continues to show the way. He brings it pit side. Ozzie Milwane staying out, as is Holman. But let's take a quick gander at the standings here. And unfortunately, I cannot get them up on my screen. There we go. As Milwane came into tonight 22 points to the good over Joey Haynes. Brian Halleck sitting in third. And Haynes not having a good time of it tonight. Joey Haynes currently sitting in the number 18 spot. So that is definitely not going to help his bid for a championship here, as they both work for Evolve Sports Academy. The Forge Racing Sports One of Brian Halleck currently sits in the number 3 spot in points. Only 22 points back from Milwayne. So Milwayne getting that all-important bonus point now for leading a lap. Definitely going to help things out, as it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out between the haves and the have-nots, as Milwayne and Mcfadden Milwayne, Mcfadden, and Oliet all staying out. McFadden and Oliet did come down pit road on lap 22. Milwayne still has yet to be down pit road. So with Osowski, Halleck, and Lane all on fresh rubber, it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, as we should get the restart with roughly 150 to go here tonight. So Milwayne, McFadden, Oliet, Osowski, Halleck, Lane, Diggs, Gamillion, Paulsen, Broomhead, your top 10. Then we see James Doherty, Matt Gelder, Greg Macanani. Oh, Milwayne finally coming down pit road there. We needed to get that bonus point for leading the lap. Ernie Ludwig holding down the number 14 spot, and Don Donaldson, Javier Torres, Joey Haynes, Chris Sherburne, Jeremy Morrison, and Ron McPherson rounding out your top 20. So that is going to hand the lead of the race over to this man here, driver of the 00, the Canadian crippler himself, Mark McFadden. And I got to say, McFadden's probably a sitting duck here. He and Oliet both went down pit road on lap 22 under the last caution. Everybody else behind them just came down at the start of this caution. As the lights go out on the iRacing pace car, McFadden going to have the button this time. No stranger to IndyCar racing and no stranger to the in-car adjustments. So it's going to be interesting to see how McFadden plays this one out, as field working its way through 3 and 4. McFadden goes to the high side, knowing that nobody can pass him before they get to the start-finish line on his right. Coming out of turn number 4, pace car is in, and McFadden spins the tires, opens the door for Oliet. Oliet to the point right now in the 86. And my timing and scoring is completely borked. Okay. So those are 2 lap cars behind McFadden. Looks like the Loesch is one of them. And that's the way that you do it here in the IndyCar racing. You lap cars don't go to the inside. Everybody's single file. And lap cars can file in between the leaders and everybody else behind them, as we've got a melee going on back around 4th, 5th, and 6th. as Osowski, Lane, Diggs, and Gamillion right now just going at it hammer and tongs. As they finally get that one started to get sorted out anyways. Matt Gelder and James Doherty going after it. That is your battle for 10th. Gelder, whoa, big move there as he throws the block going into one, checks up Doherty just ever so slightly. Going to wrestle the 10th spot away from him, relegates Doherty back to 11th. Brian Nosowski's around. Or Oliet, I'm sorry. Keep your eye on the yellow car, folks. This is going into 3. Dives it to the inside of the lap car, gets into him, and up into the wall goes the 86. Rear wing gone, front wing gone, front suspension damage. Everybody else doing a great job avoiding him. A lot of damage. Going to have to burn the fast repair early. And that brings out caution number 3. So the good news is Brian Halleck was able to escape through that one. That was Brian Scrivener that Oliet got into. So Mcfadden bringing it pit side now. Going to get some service done on that car. Fresh shoes and a full fresh tank of Go Fast. That is going to hand the lead of the race back over to the driver of the 3, Brian Halleck. Halleck needs to have a good one here tonight. And I'm not sure if anybody's told the 70 yet, but he has a ton of damage on that car. As we are going to, you can see it even got into the rear wing, and you can see just a little bit of suspension damage on that one. Somebody might want to let Scrivener know that that car has definitely seen better days. And that it already being a lap down, that's just going to make things worse with the handling of that car. So just made a long night even longer. As there is your race leader, Brian Halleck. As getting ready to put 56 of 200 in the books here tonight. We got one coming down pit road that looks like the 033 of Osowski. No, it was not. That was Dolson, the 235. So a couple cars waiting on the wave around here. Lights still on the pace car. As Deloche goes down pit road, Dolson, Gilbert, McSparren. All trying to get some service done on those rides. Bear with me, folks. Still dealing with that troll from earlier. As looks like lights are out on the pace car finally. Halleck, Osowski, Lane, Diggs, Paulsen, Gamillion, Broomhead, Gelder, Darty, and Donaldson, your top 10. Currently, your biggest mover is going to be this man here in the 322. That is Steve Paulsen. Up 15 spots from where he started this piece. So good run so far for the Sector 5 driver. Field working its way through 3 and 4 yet again. Halleck going to have the button. As field working its way off of turn number 4, pace car is in. Halleck brings him into the Red Cat restart zone, pulls the trigger, and we are back underway with 58 laps in the books. A little bit of battling going on between Osowski and Lane. Lane using the draft down the back straightaway, trying to make some headway. Not able to really make it pay off, as that is Broomhead and Gamillion going side by side through 3 and 4. Give it to Broomhead out of sheer will. Here comes Matt Gelder as well. Gamillion not having a good time of it on these restarts. Looks like it takes him a couple laps to, really get comfortable and get settled to get back up to speed. As Gamillion now sits in the 8th spot, has slid 4 spots from where the race started. A little bit of further back, that's Javier Torres in the 49, showing the way over the 350 of Greg Macanani. As Brian Halleck just set quick time of the race, 30.86. That's hauling the mail. As here comes Macanani on Torres. Torres battles back on the high side, making a good bid for it. Macanani not able to make it stick, jumps up in front of Chris Sherburne. As Sherburne with a good run going into 3, the Sector 5 driver has to check up a little bit. Gonna have to be careful as he's got Jeremy Morrison breathing down his neck. A little bit further forward, that's Ernie Ludwig and Joe Hoffman going hammer and tongs. Sorry, that was Hoffman, but that was not Ludwig. That was James Doherty, who was getting passed up by Joe Hoffman. And battle for 8th, hot and heavy right now. That is Dolson and Gamillion running stem to stern. You got Joey Hayes right there. As Hayes looks to the inside of Gamillion, try to wrestle in the 9 spot away from him. Hayes to the inside, Gamillion on the high side, drag race down the backstretch. That is Ludwig right behind them. As Ludwig full send it mode going into 3, going to wrestle the spot away from Gamillion as Gamillion's night continues to be dreadful. Not a happy camper behind the wheel of that 44 right now, as he is struggling here in the early going. Dolson in the purple car leads over Joey Hayes. That is your battle for 8th, mind you. Out front of this thing is Brian Halleck, 2 seconds to the good over his teammate Ethan Osowski. Osowski was having a deal with Mike Lane, and all that pressure Lane was applying was letting Halleck just walk away from these guys. As Haynes looks to the inside of Dolson. As We got one in the wall. Looks like Matt Gelder. Let's take a look at what happened here. Yeah, there's Gelder. There was Gelder blasting that wall. Let's take a look at what really did happen with Gelder here. Comes off the wall and oh! It was Gelder and Gilbert. Gilbert absolutely nowhere to go. He was battling with Mcfadden and just race car to the face. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at what that looked like from Gilbert's. Oh man. Gerald Gilbert. You can see the car up on the wall, and he starts to slow down, has absolutely no time to react because Gelder just turned down in front of him. Oh my God. Yeah, that was definitely a thank God this is a simulator moment. As we are back live now, as shouldn't see too many takers coming down pit road here. But that was definitely a wild one. Just received word that Dino Vella has decided to call it a night after 19 laps. And Gilbert has put it on the hauler as well. So that leaves us with 28 cars still circulating this piece. Matt Gelder in the 69, the only one still on pit road. So a little bit later look at what we've got coming up this week on the ESPN family of broadcasts. Tomorrow night is going to be the we have the Maestro's Classic ARCA Series. They were going to have race number 4 coming up tomorrow night, as well as the Rowdy Energy Cup Series season finale from Phoenix. Tuesday, we have the UK Sim Racing MX5 Pro Series, Week 9 from Daytona. That is a 2:50 Eastern Time start. Then a triple header on Tuesday with the meat in the sandwich being the Maestro's Classic ARCA Series. That one is Tuesday from Watkins Glen, race number 4. That is an 8:50 Eastern Time start. And then the nightcap for that is going to be the what the hell is going on here? That is going to be the Western States Truck Series, round number 17. And that'll be an 8. The Maestros is tomorrow. Rick Motegi is Tuesday. And Western States is also Tuesday. That's a 10:05 Eastern Time start for that one. Then Wednesday is the doubleheader with the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series, round 13 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course. That is going to be an 8:15 Eastern Time start. Then the Pony Express Sim Racing Endurance for Amateurs Series, round number 9 from Brands Hatch. That's an 8:25 Eastern Time start. As the lights are out on the official iRacing pace car, Halleck going to have the button. Field coming down the back straightaway yet again. Halleck, Osowski, Lane, Diggs, Broomfield, Paulsen, Haynes, Dolson, Ludwig, and Hoffman, your top 10. So Halleck swings it to the high side, can pull the trigger as soon as the pace car leaves the racing surface as they work their way out of turn number 4 and into the Red Cat restart zone. Pace car is in. Halleck wastes no time pulling the trigger. Osowski goes with him, trying to protect that inside lane. A little bit of an Indy snake starting to form down the front straightaway here. Everybody getting away pretty cleanly, except for James Daugherty. Hemorrhaged a couple of spots there, throws the block in front of Maurice Gamillion as a little bit further back. That is, well, here we go. Javier Torres trying to get a twofer here, going into 3. That is Daugherty and Gamillion as Gamillion gets by Daugherty coming off a 4 as Ernie Ludwig getting passed up by Joe Hoffman as well. Ludwig flirting with disaster coming down the back straightaway. That is your battle for 9th as Ludwig going to relinquish the spot to Holman, knowing that there is a ton of racing left to do as we're only putting 72 laps in the books right now, as Lane having to deal with the 04 of Diggs. Diggs to the inside, drag race down the back straightaway. They're going to have to be careful because that is Mike Bloomfield right there with them. As Diggs just sends it, not able to make it happen. Lane able to defend on the high side coming off of 4. Diggs going to take another shot at him. Bloomfield in the draft of Lane right now. Diggs throws it to the inside one more time. Almost contact going into 1. Diggs has the spot. Sorry, Lane has the spot. Halleck, Osowski, Lane, Diggs, Broomhead, your top 5. And looks like James Daugherty has taken it pit side. Yes, he has. Not having a good time with it. Looks like he may have gotten into the wall on the restart, which is why he was hemorrhaging spots. As Joe Holman just dives it to the inside of Don Dolson. Holman wrestles the spot away, moves up into the 7th spot. Dolson slides back, and here comes Ernie Ludwig to the inside of Paulsen, going into 3. Ludwig able to make it stick, gets a decent drive off of 4, drag race down the front straightaway. Ludwig with the nose wing out front. Pinches Paulsen up just a little bit, wrestles the spot away. Just like that, Ernie Ludwig into 9th. Paulsen tries to battle back, though, as they are still going hammer and tongs. That battle for 3rd still hot and heavy right now. That's Borth, I should say. That is Diggs and Broomhead going after it. Stem to stern right now, those guys run. Osowski has his rearview mirrors filled with Lane just in front of him. And here we go, battle for 4th. Broomhead thought about it. Diggs had the position, though. Diggs with a good head of steam as Broomhead right there in his slipstream dives it going into one. Full send it mode for Broomhead in the 54. Trying to make it stick. Gonna slide job coming off a 2. Gonna check up Diggs ever so slightly. Just like that, Mike Broomhead up into the 4th spot. Mcfadden trying to make some headway now. A little bit fresher tires than those guys around him. That's Macanani and sorry, it was Macanani in a lap car that he was dealing with there. Sherburne right there as well. That is Sherburne in front of him. As Mcfadden up into the 17th spot after pitting 2 cautions ago. And that is the 119 to Jason McSparron right behind him right now in his slipstream. As the field's starting to get a little bit strung out. Just as I say that, that is Ozzie Milwane working in the inside of Torres and Maurice Gamillion right there as well. Those 3 guys on very similar pit strategies currently. As in front of them, that's Ernie Ludwig and Don Dolson going at it. Dolson losing the spot to Ludwig. Ludwig up 8, Dolson up 14 from where they started this. Steve Paulsen right there as well on the 114. Or sorry, the 322. Currently up 10 from where he started. As Milwane looks to the inside of Gamillion going down the front straightaway. Milwane, your points leader, trying to make it happen here tonight. Wrestles the spot away through 1 and 2. Now sets its sights on trying to reel in Steve Paulsen, who is 3/4 of a second up the road. With a good finish here tonight, Milwane could lock up the championship. But a lot of things have to go certain ways for that to happen. Meanwhile, up at the front of this thing, one of his arch nemesis, Brian Halleck, has led the vast majority of this piece as we are getting ready to put 83 of 200 in the books. As we're taking a look right now, Warrior battle for 6th. Holman has it. Haynes wants it. As they're both working on the back of Jonathan Diggs. Holman dives it to the inside. Diggs able to carry a little bit more momentum off of 4. Gets a better exit and maintains the spot. A little bit behind them, Ozzie Milwane all over Steve Paulsen right now. Throws it to the inside, going through 1. Side by side coming off of 2. Milwane with a little bit of an advantage. Gonna wrestle the spot away, and just like that, the 114 is back into the top 10. Don't mind me, folks. I'm just looking for some battles that I can talk to you about. Because the rest of this field, I mean, there's little pockets, but the rest of this field more strung out than a methadone clinic right now. As battle for 4th starting to get hot and heavy between Mike Broomhead and Mike Lane. That's Lane in the 54, Lane in the 62, Broomhead in the 54. A little bit of a connection issue there for Broomhead. As we're going to go back to Milwane. Is he working the inside of Don Dolson right now? Dolson on the high side. Milwane just full send it mode. Dolson knows that he's quicker, lets him go, and looks like Rob Courtney has gotten it all wrong. Let's take a look at what happened to the 64. And much like he did the last time we saw him have trouble, just gets it wrong coming out of turn number 4. Tried to pull the trigger just a little too soon. So we are back live. Brian Halleck continues to show the way. I would expect to see wholesale pit stops here, being as the last time most of these guys were back down pit road was back on lap 47, as Gerald Gilbert and Spencer Todd have both decided to put it on the hauler here tonight. And there we go. We see a bunch of takers going down pit road now. Looks like Mike Broomhead in the 54 is going to stay out, as is the 338 of Joey Haynes. Rob Covey in the 72 has also stayed out. There's Rob. But absolutely wholesale pit stops for the rest of the field. It's on the lead lap. So a little bit of strategy starting to play out here. Halleck winning the battle off pit road. Ethan Osowski coming out in second. Lane Holman. I apologize, Joe. I've been calling you Hoffman all night. I got hot dogs on the mind. Jonathan Diggs in 8th. Ozzie Milwane comes out in 9th. So looks like 4 in fuel for everybody that went down pit road that time. And let's take a quick look at the rest of the week. We left off with Wednesday night. So Thursday night, we are going to have the DOB Dirt Night as the 410 sprints go to USA, followed immediately by Big Blocks at the Grove. Why does that not sound right to me? Because they've already done that. We did that 2 weeks ago. No, they haven't. I have lost all control. So, DOB Sprint Cars Thursday night. That is going to be a 9 p.m. Eastern Time start. And then we will be back Friday for the Circle B Diecast Super Speedway Series. As it's the first round of the round of 8. First round of the round of 8. They will be at Daytona in the Xfinity car. So, and it is an 8:20 Eastern Time start for that one. So Mike Broomhead in the in command of this one so far. And again, let us know in the live chat who you're rooting for. And I am going to do my best to make sure that whoever this is that keeps doing this if I find you, I will kill you. As we are back underway, bear with me, folks. Going to be a couple seconds here as I'm having to deal with a troll right now. And yes, Sally, you are correct, and I'm trying to get this handled right now. I do apologize for those of you who had to deal with that, but Gran Turismo, Drew, you are correct. 75% is all he's got to do to cinch up the race here tonight, should he maintain where he currently is, and that is a championship for Mr. Hayes. So we're going to pick up the action here back in the number 12 spot, 12th and 11th and 12th as Torres working on the inside of a lap car. We've got it hot and heavy behind him, though, as that is Paulsen and Morrison and Macanani all right there. Throw a blanket over those guys for 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Kind of getting hot and heavy right now. Up into the number 3 spot, that is Brian Halleck working on Covey right now, as Covey going to have to relinquish the spot as Halleck with the fresher shoes on that ride. And in front of him, looks like we've got a little strategery going on. A couple lap cars in front of him. Osowski able to get by Covey as well. Again, fresher rubber paying off. As, yes, that is 2 lap cars in front of Halleck. So he's going to have to tiptoe his way through those guys. Covey, though, continuing the backslide right now, is that is Hoffman in front of him. Hoffman was able to wrestle the spot away on the fresher tires like we've seen. And don't look now, but Ozzie Milwane is making some headway as a little bit further behind. It's Javier Torres and Steve Paulsen going at it hammer and tongs. Torres on the high side, Paulsen on the low side. And they've got Jeremy Morrison right there with them. They work their way off at turn number 4 as Paulsen with the nose out front going into 1. Torres going to have to relinquish. And looks like Jeremy Morrison going to be able to wrestle that spot away as well, as here comes Torres battling back on the high side, keeping his foot in it. Better run for Torres, able to maintain. Everybody getting pretty strung out except for those guys right now. That was your closest battle on track. And just as I say that, Ludwig all over the transmission tunnel of Chris Sherburne right now. Throws it to the inside, going through 1 and 2. Ludwig trying to make something happen in the 26. Gets the draft down the back straightaway. That is one of your closest battles on track. And just as I say that, I'm going to go back up towards 4th between Osowski and Hoffman. Hoffman giving Osowski all he can handle right now. That is your battle for 4th. Osowski has it. Hoffman wants it. As flirting with disaster coming off of 2. Osowski in the slipstream going into 3. Has to check up a little bit. And don't look now, but Ozzie Milwane is on a tear, already up to 7th and starting to reel in Robert Covey in the 72. Keep your eye on Milwane in the 114. He got off pit cycle there to try to get that bonus point for leading a lap, and now has to try to reel in his arch nemesis, Brian Halleck, who currently sits in 3rd. Looks like Aero Push might be starting to rear its ugly head as Covey was able to cut off Milwane, take all the air off his front spoiler that checked Milwane up ever so slightly. Starting to fall back a little bit now. In front of them, it's hot and heavy between Osowski and Hoffman. Osowski in the black and purple 033. Hoffman in the white and purple 999. Down the front straightaway they come. And that is definitely Aero Push from hell for those guys. Hoffman going to try a different approach. Takes the high line coming through 3 and 4. Osowski pinches him up into the wall. Hoffman has to back out of it. That's going to let Osowski able to maintain. Right now, Milwane giving Covey all he can handle as they work their way through 1 and 2. Coming off of 2. Milwane in the slipstream. Which lane is he going to take going into 3? Dives it to the inside. Covey tries to cut him off. Not able to make it happen. They got to be careful because they got a very hungry Mike Lane right behind them. Just past the halfway mark. 107 laps in the books. Mike Broomhead continues to show the way. Joey Hayes sitting right behind him. Brian Halleck runs in 3rd. Ethan Osowski, Joe Hoffman, Rob Covey, Ozzie Milwane in 7th. Mike Lane, John Diggs, and Don Dolson rounding out your top 10. A little bit of a wiggle. We got one into the wall on the front stretch. That was Hoffman. What happened here? just tries to lay the power down and just blasts the pit wall and gets it stuck. Definitely not what you wanted to see if you were Mike Broomhead. You can see that car of Hoffman heavily crabbing. So that brings out our fifth caution of the night. See how many takers we are going to see come down pit road here. But again, if you are watching and you haven't done so already, don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, share, turn on bell notifications so you don't miss a single moment of action on the ESPN family of broadcasts. We have a lot of double headers all week long. We have a couple of triple headers. We do this 6 nights a week. Currently, the only night we do not broadcast is Saturday. But the rest of the week, jam-packed, full of racing action. And don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, because that does help the YouTube algorithm to be able to share this with other people. As it looks like we've got Broomhead and Hayes both going down pit road. Halleck electing to stay out. Ludwig comes in. Sherburne comes in. As you would expect, we see some takers down pit road just past the halfway mark. So with 10 sets of tires here tonight, shouldn't be too big of an issue as far as tires go. We're not going to see guys pitting every time for tires. Although so far you could have and still have 5 sets left in your pocket. But definitely some good action here for the Majors Japan Indy 300 from Twin Ring Motegi. As you're wondering what we are using tonight, this is the old Indy car, the old IR05. That Dallara came out with for the Indy Racing League back in 2005. This was actually the same car configuration that we unfortunately lost Dan Weldon in back in 2012. As that's why the next incarnation was actually referred to as the DW12 or the Dan Weldon 12 car, being as Dan did a ton of testing to help improve the safety of the car, which of course led to the modern Indy car that you'll see on Wednesday nights here on ESPN for the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series. And again, those guys are going to be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Wednesday night this week for their penultimate race on the road course. The old F1 layout is what they will be using. So let's take a quick look at who we've got running where so far. As Brian Halleck, Ethan Osowski, Robert Covey, Ozzie Milwane, Mike Lane, Jonathan Diggs, Don Dolson, Maurice Gamillion, Steve Paulsen, and Javier Torres, all in your top 10. Greg Macanani, Jeremy Morrison, Mark Mcfadden, Ron McPherson, Mike Bloomfield, Joey Haynes, Ernie Ludwig, Chris Sherburne, and Mike Oliette running out your lead lap cars. Oliette in 19th. Jason McSparron, first car, 1 or more laps down. So those of you who wanted the shootout, we're getting near where we're going to see it. Halleck shows the way. Milwane sits in 4th right now. And those two guys have been two of the drivers to beat all season long. Halleck came into tonight in third in points as the man who sits in second in points, Joey Haynes, currently sits in 16th. As Ozzie Milwayne came into tonight, 20 points to the good. So could cinch up the championship here tonight. As looks like the lights are out on the pace car. Yes, they are. And we are going to turn them back loose with 113 laps in the books. Pace car is in. Halleck has the triggers to go into the Red Cat restart zone, pulls the trigger, and we are back underway. And something happened to Covey. Covey spun the tires coming off of turn 4. Milwayne got to his outside. And they're almost 3 wide here. Milwayne up into third. Here comes Mike Lane to the outside of Covey as well. There is also the 04 of John Diggs right there as Lane throws it to the outside of Milwayne. Drag race coming off of 4. A little bit of a twitch from Milwayne coming off of 4. That's going to let Lane get to his outside. Let's see what happens here going into turn number 1. Milwayne with the preferred line through the corner. Lane battling tough on the high side, carrying the momentum. Going to wrestle the spot away from Milwayne. And all this battling is not doing these guys any good right now, as Halleck and Osowski have just checked out. Halleck almost a full straightaway to the good over this battle for third. Osowski half a straightaway to the good, as they are still throwing haymakers at each other. Milwayne trying to figure out what he's got to do to get by Lane. As a little bit further back, that's Broomhead is throwing it out with his teammate, and they've got Ernie Ludwig right there with them. Ludwig now pulls to the inside of Broomhead, going into 1. And it looks like Mark Mcfadden had a moment. Let's go back and take a look at what happened here. And yep, looks like netcode sends Mcfadden almost into the wall, able to collect it back up, but he does lose a few spots. And is now back to live. Brian Halleck just reset quick time of the race with a 30.8 flat. Second one tonight to go sub 31, and we are under caution again. Looks like Joe Hoffman. What happened? Come on. What happened to the 999? Joseph Hoffman gets it wrong, coming off a 2, blasts the wall. Ouch. Take a look at that one from a different camera angle here. Let's see what that looks like from this angle. Coming off a turn 2, just slips it high and just catches that safer barrier, and into the concrete he goes. So yeah, that was a rough one there. As we go back under caution now. Halleck thinks about pitting, thinks better of it though. As not a lot of takers down pit road. Ludwig bringing it pit side. It's like Joe Hoffman having to bring it pit side after towing. And Miss Sally, you are correct. Actually, Mark is actually down 4 from where he started. Yeah, Joe, I feel your pain, bud. But them's the breaks. You had a good run going, sir, but unfortunately not able to make it happen here tonight. So let's reset and see what's going on here. That's not what I wanted to do. Or was it? So we have lost all control. Anywho, Halleck, Osowski, Lane, Milwayne, Covey, Diggs, Dolson, Gamillion, Paulsen, and Torres rounding out your top 10. Only a couple drivers electing to pit under this current caution. Now, mind you, we have not seen the money stop yet, as we are 80 to go currently. As the lights do go out on the pace car that time. Again, you are watching the major American Sportsman division, Indy Japan 300 from a Twin Ring Motegi. As current biggest mover of the race is Don Dolson in the 03, up 16 from where he started, currently running in the number 7 spot. So good run for Don here tonight. Again, huge Canadian contingent here. About half the field American, half the field Canadian. So battle at the border here in Japan, neutral ground for both parties. As field working its way through 3 and 4. Halleck's going to have the button as soon as the pace car leaves. Field working its way out of turn 4. There goes the pace car. Field goes into the Red Cat restart zone. And we are back underway. Halleck immediately drops to the low side to try to break the draft of everybody behind him. And looks like everybody got away cleanly that time, as Javier Torres trying to make some headway right now on the 322 of Paulsen. Has to deal with the 75 of Morrison right behind him. They start to get that one sorted out ever so slightly. And just as I say that, Torres gets a good run down the backstretch. Paulsen on the low side, Torres on the high side. Torres gets a little bit loose coming off, and here we go. That is the 114 of Milwayne. Looking to the inside, or the 72 of Covey. was working on Milwain. Milwain did not get the restart he needed. Able to get it wound back up, though. A little 3/4 of a second to the trail off Mike Lane. And a little bit further back, here we go. And that is Torres and Morrison going hammer and tongs at it again. Morrison on the low side, Torres on the high side. They got to be careful because they got Joey Haynes right there. Haynes needs every point he can get right now. Currently sitting number 2 in the point standings. Trying to make something happen in the 338. Has his teammate Mike Broomhead trying to make some headway as well. Those two guys trying to climb back towards the front of this piece. 125 laps in the books. 75 to go. Brian Halleck continues to show the way. This battle is hot and heavy here in the mid-pack, though. Torres sitting just inside the top 10. Haynes needs to get up there. Halleck's doing everything he can to try to pass Haynes back. Broomhead right there as well. Now, mind you, those guys, Morrison and Broomhead, Haynes and Broomhead, on the same team, and they only have one team rule, and that rule is try not to kill you. And we got contact. Torres. And Haynes caught a piece of that one. Hopefully he hasn't burned his fast repair yet. Let's see what happened here. Going into turn number 3, just ouch. Haynes and Broomhead both catching a piece of the spinning Torres. So all 3 of those guys probably going to have to burn their fast repairs. Broomhead definitely did. Oh. Just under 75 laps to go. As again, the faking of the pit. Last time most of these guys were down pit road was back on lap 88. Haynes in, Broomhead in, Mcfadden, Oliet, Covey all in. Now, I doubt that's going to be the money stop. They should have to make one more stop after this. But a lot of those guys having to pit because of damage. So let's see what we've got going on here momentarily. As Brian Halleck doing everything he can to try to make some ground on Joey Haynes. Haynes not having a good time of it. Currently sitting back in the number 15 spot. And has had to burn his fast repair. Also, Mike Broomhead having the same issue. He had to burn his fast repair as well. But Chris Sherburne in the 135. Let's take a quick look at Chris here. There he is in the Sector 5 135. Chris up 18 spots from where he started this piece. Currently rides in 13th position. Chris basically starting shotgun on the field. Starting 31st in a 33-car field. So, hats off to you, sir. That's an amazing drive. Especially the track is difficult to pass on as Twin Ring Motegi is. Currently 18 cars on the lead lap. Javier Perez in 49, being the last car scored as such. Jason Mcfadden, the first car one or more laps down, currently sits in 19th in the 119. Again, major points implications here with Haynes getting caught up in that wreck coming into tonight. That was the point situation coming into tonight. As we're going to take a quick look now. Excuse me, folks. I just lost the button I was meaning to push. There it goes. And, of course, it doesn't come up. Thanks, iRacing. Love you lots. So, lights are out on the iRacing pace car. Brian Halleck going to have the button one more time. He has led a boatload of laps here tonight. I dare say he's already clinched most laps led, as we are going to be, well, we are currently 70 to go. We are going to be nice. When we go back to green, Halleck, Osowski, Lane, Milwane, Diggs, Dolson, Gamillion, Paulsen, Morrison, and Macanani rounding out your top 10. Field working its way into the 3-4 complex. Halleck gonna have the button. As field starting to form up single file on that high line. Remember, you cannot pass to the right you cannot pass to the left until the start-finish line. You can only pass to the right, so they line up as far right as they can to close that off. Halleck, though, starts to do the snake to try to break the draft from his own teammate as the green flag comes back out. A little bit of dicing and slicing going on. That was Morrison and Paulsen going after it, as Morrison in the 75 was able to wrestle the spot away from Paulsen going into one. So that was 8th. As looks like Ozzie Milwane having to deal with John Diggs right now. Diggs all over the trans tunnel of your points leader, coming off a 2. Diggs throws it to the inside, going down the back straightaway. Gonna go full send it mode. Milwane slams the door on him. And again, more slicing and dicing behind these guys, as that is Dolson, Gamillion, and Morrison stem to stern right now, trying to get it sorted out. Gamillion in the slipstream of Dolson, coming down the back straightaway and hauling it off into turn number 3. Looks like, and I just about missed it, as we've got a battle for second. That's Lane on the high side, Osowski on the inside. They're going to have to get that sorted out pretty quick, because they've got a very hungry Ozzie Milwane right behind them, who's not afraid to take it 3 wide if needed. Lane flirting with disaster, coming off a 2, almost gets into the wall, has to check up. He's going to lose the spot to Milwane. Milwane now pressures Osowski, coming through 3 and 4. Battle for second, hot and heavy. Your leader, though, Brian Halleck, about 12 car lengths to the good currently. Here comes the 04 of Diggs to the inside of Lane as well. Something happened to Lane. Let's see what happened here. Just contact going into one and laying. Ouch. Boy, everybody doing a great job to try to avoid him. Heartbreak for the driver of the 62. He might have to tow that. Yeah, there it is. Trying to limp that car around, not having a good time of it, and almost bangs the wall on the backstretch. You can see just how crabbed that car is. Definitely going to have to take a pit side and burn his fast repairs. There he goes down pit road now. So, yeah, that was a wild one. You hate to see that happen. Diggs and Lane just got into it. It looks like wholesale pit stops for your lead lap cars as Macanani stays out. So Greg Macanani in the 350 electing to not bring it pit side. So putting him back up towards the front here. And we saw him have a brief stint up towards the front earlier in the race. Got off pit cycle with everyone else. Now, I'm not saying that you can make it from here. But what I am going to say is you could. Do I think we're done seeing the caution flags? Probably not. As wow, Joey Haynes stays out as well. So picks up a couple spots there, the all-important spots that he needs. The only problem is he's going to have some lap cars between himself and Greg Macanani. As cars that did go pit side. Brian Halleck winning that battle off pit road. Ozzie Milwane coming out right behind him, though. Ethan Osowski losing a spot in the pits. It had a 10-second stop, so it looks like a little bit of a troubled session there for Osowski. McAnany, Haynes, Covey, Broomhead, McFadden, Torres, Halleck, Milwane, Osowski, and Don Dolson rounding out your top 10. Working lap 139 of 200. As again, great pit strategy call for Greg Macanani. Last time he was down pit road, though, was lap 88. So we're about to see how far you can take this with a little bit of caution help. How far can a tank of Go Fast last you? As lights should be going out on the pace car this time across the stripe. And yeah, there go the lights, and we are going to turn them loose with 60 to go. So, could you make it from here? It depends on what you set the fuel mix to. And I pretty much can guarantee you we have not seen the last caution flag fly here tonight at Twin Ring Motegi. And and did receive word this is the last race of the season for the American Sportsman division. And I have to say, it's been a fun adventure this year. So interesting action all season long as the field worked its way into 3 and 4. As pace car gets ready to haul it off, Macanani gonna have the button. Has some lap cars between himself and Joey Haynes, so a little bit of a cushion. Pace car is in, field into the Red Cat restart zone, and that was Haynes. Let's watch what happened here as Schriebner goes to pull the trigger. The 70 has to check up and just gets flat run over. Haynes caught up in that one. Schriebner, 69, a Gelder in. McPherson caught up in it. Robert Covey catching a piece. Let's see what happened to Robert here. It all started with Schriebner in the 70, completely checked up, which is not something you ever want to have to try to do. Let's see what the blimp picked up here. Here they are coming out of turn number 4, and you can see the 70 just steps on the brake and stacks everybody up behind him. Oh my goodness. Turn 4 is a parking lot. Just like that, we are back under caution. And that is going to hand the lead of the race over this man from Canada. That is the 00 of Mark Mcfadden. Mcfadden last was down pit road on lap 128, so just under 20 laps on his tires. He and Cubby and Torres all came down around that same time. Jonathan Diggs, who's going to be in 4th, Ozzie Milwane in 5th. Those guys were last down under the previous caution. As Broomhead, Gamillion, Sherburne, all bringing it down pit road. Macanani and Broomhead going down pit road there. So definitely an interesting restart as that's definitely not what we were hoping for there. So let's see if I can find the right button here. So there is your race leader, the 00 of Mark Mcfadden. There's a little bit of chatter going on right now. So Looks like Torres and Covey having a conversation there. Just making sure that everything is copacetic with both cars for the restart. Covey unsure if he caught a piece of that one or not. So the lights should be going out on the pace car here. And there they go. So we are going to fire them back off with about 55 laps to go in this one. Mcfadden, Covey, Torres, Diggs, Milwain, Dolson, Morrison, Halleck, Paulsen, and Osowski rounding out your top 10. And unlike the last restart, we do not have a ton of lap cars separating your top handful of drivers. They are all right there within striking distance of each other. As the field working its way down the Honda back straightaway here at Twin Ring Motegi. Again, it'll be 55 laps to go when they get back to the stripe. Mcfadden gonna have the button. Field working its way through the 3-4 complex. Pace car is in. Mcfadden brings them into the Red Cat restart zone. Green flag comes out. We are back underway and a much cleaner restart this time. Except for Mike Broomhead, who went down pit road. Looks like he may have been popped for speeding off. Has to do a pass through. Right now, the battle for second, hot and heavy, as Torres catches the apron. Here comes Diggs with a head of steam on the high side. Trying to get a twofer. And just like that, Diggs up into second. Torres now battling for his life as he has Dolson all over his transmission tunnel. Ozzie Milwain trying to make some headway right now on Jeremy Moore. Those two guys having a slugfest. Meanwhile, Mark Mcfadden in the 00 shows the way. Almost 2 full seconds to the good over this man, the 04 of Jonathan Diggs. Javier Torres holds down the number 3 spot as Ozzie Milwain was looking to the inside of Jeremy Morrison. Thought better of it, though. He's going to have to get it sorted out pretty quick because that is a very hungry Ozzie Milwain on fresh tires right behind him. And I got to think that Dolson almost appears to be holding up those guys behind him. There goes Milwain to the inside of Morrison. Now sets its sights on trying to reel in Dolson. And just as I say that, that battle for 5th is not over with yet. Milwain full send it mode going into 3. Morrison battles back on the second lane. Milwain going to have the spot. Here comes Halleck into 3. Halleck trying to follow his arch nemesis through as they get right behind Dolson now. They're both going to have to be careful as Javier Torres right now for second, making the move to the inside of Jonathan Diggs. Just like that, Torres up, Diggs back, Dolson on the high side, Milwain on the low side, trying to wrestle 4th place away from Dolson. Milwain full send it mode, and here comes Halleck to follow him through. Dolson's gonna have to stop the hemorrhaging. Gets a better run off of 2, better head of steam, and a little bit of drafting help as well. Here comes Jeremy Morrison to the high side on Halleck. Halleck just full send it mode going into 3. Just as I say that, Jonathan Diggs falling back into the clutches of Ozzie Milwayne. Drag race to the stripe. Diggs with a better run off of 4. Milwayne with the preferred line going into 1 though. Gonna wrestle the spot away from Diggs. Milwayne up into the number 3 slot. Still a ton of racing left to do in this one. Inside, 50 to go. Here comes Diggs to the back, to the inside to Milwayne. Milwayne able to carry more momentum, coming through 3 and 4 on the high side. Almost contact off of 4. Halleck getting up there as well and bringing Osowski with him. These guys are battling it out like it's the last lap right now, and we are going to be closing in on 45 to go. Don Dolson, though, not having the time of it as McPherson just crashed. Let's take a look at what happened to Ron McPherson. Looks like all by his lonesome. Anybody want to say it again? Boom. Same thing we have seen all race long, and immediately hits that tow button as we go back to live. He is now pit side, and we are back live with your battle for 5th. Brian Halleck has it. Ethan Osowski has it as they both got by Jonathan Diggs. A little bit further back, Paulsen has his rearview mirrors filled with the 322 of Steve Paulsen. As Paulsen trying to make something happen right now. That is the 54 of Mike Broomhead, who is a lap down after getting that pit road penalty on the restart. Yikes. As Ozzie Milwayne cranking one off now. And Milwayne just set the fastest lap of the race as he is slugging it out with Javier Torres for 2nd. Brian Halleck had it with a 30.79. Milwayne just reset it with a 30.73. Milwayne still looking to the inside on Torres. Mark Mcfadden continues to show the way, though. Clean air, absolutely a must right now as Milwayne protects the inside lane going into 3. Full send it mode, going to sweep up in front of Torres. Torres looking to cross him over, not able to make it happen, though, as now Torres now has to worry about Brian Halleck. Halleck looks to the inside, going into 1. Side by side, the battle for the last step of the podium. Torres able to defend on the high line as Mark Mcfadden has his rearview mirror filled with your points leader, Ozzie Milwayne, as they haul it off into turn number 1. Milwayne thinking about going to the high side, juts to the low side, gets a good drive coming off of 4, pulls to the side. McFadden, oh my God! Oh! And that's not something you ever want to see, as we've still got cars crashing. It looks like McFadden tried to lay the power down just a little too aggressively coming off of 4. Milwayne was looking to his inside, and unfortunately, both of them headlong into the wall, and here comes Mike Lane, nowhere to go. Ouch. Let's see what happened to Clausen, as he was another one that got caught up in that one. Here's Tim Clausen. As looks like Clausen was able to get by, just had to jump on the binders. See what happened to the Loge. Looks like same thing. Both those guys able to get those cars woed. But, yeah, Lane and Milwane, not what they were hoping for. I'll tell you that much. As we go back to live, and you can see a ton of damage on the 114 of Milwane. That now puts him a lap down as he had to tow that. And you can see just by how out of whack that front end is. Dang. And Mcfadden had such a good run going, too. You hate to see that happen. Luckily, still had his fast repair in his pocket, was able to limp that one back around to the pits. Milwane, not so lucky. Lane, I believe, already burned his fast repair. He had to tow it back to the pits as well. So he is going to be a while. And that hands the lead of the race back to this man. And that is the number 3 of Brian Halleck. Ethan Osowski back into second. Jonathan Diggs, Jeremy Morrison, Don Dolson, Steve Paulsen, Maurice Chameleon, Greg Macanani, Chris Sherburne, and Javier Torres rounding out your top 10. Ernie Ludwig, Jason McSparron, and Mark Mcfadden rounding out your lead lap cars in 11th, 12th, and 13th. So I dare say that this is not the night that Evolve Motorsports was looking for. Milwane just involved in that last caution. Joey Haynes not having a good time of it tonight either. Haynes has been in the pits for the last 14 minutes. So it's going to be a tight one coming to the closing laps of this one as we are currently 40 to go. Brian Halleck showing the way in the race. We will get a points update before we go off the air tonight. I do promise you that, folks. But, yeah, that was definitely a rough one. Let me see if we can... Now, the good news is Ozzie Milwane is out. They'll be a couple laps down in 17th. But let me see here. And unfortunately, I don't have access to any of the team rooms. So... unfortunately, I'm not able to pull any drivers in for an in-race interview. Looks like Mcfadden has come back down pit road just to make sure that car is as fixed as it can get. Looks like he's spending a little bit more time now. 8.443 seconds came down. Made sure that he had his freshest tires on and packed that thing full of fuel. Should be able to make it from here on fuel. Those cars that did come down under this caution. Maurice Chameleon, Greg McAnany, Chris Sherburne should be able to make it, being they were down on lap 142. Everybody in front of Chameleon, though, was last down on 137. Not sure if they can make it from there on fuel. It's definitely going to be touch and go. But Brian Halleck going to have the button as the field works its way through the 3-4 complex. Behind the official iRacing pace car, there it goes. Here we go into the Red Cat restart zone one more time. Halleck pulls the trigger, gets a 4-car length jump over his teammate, Ethan Osowski. Osowski under assault right now from Jonathan Diggs. A little bit further back, looks like we've got some action going on. That is the 54 of Mike Broomhead working to the inside of Steve Paulsen. Now Broomhead is a lap down, and Paulsen on the lead lap, so not for position. as one that is for position, that's Jason Mcfadden in the 119, as Mark Mcfadden dropping back off of him. Mcfadden not having a good time of it since he had to pit under that last caution. And here comes Javier Torres to the inside of Chris Sherburne. Sherburne on the high side, Torres on the low side. And they're 3 wide behind them, Ernie Ludwig being one of them. Ludwig was on the outside, wisely checking up. Good grief. And that is a very hungry Ozzie Milwane trying to get back up there, making things happen as he gets by the 135 of Sherburne. Now sets his sights on the 72 of Covey. Covey is not on the same lap, so a lap deficit there to Milwane. Milwane on a charge right now, trying to make things happen. Meanwhile, Paulsen having to deal with Don Donaldson. Slugfest right now as here comes Dolson to the inside of Paulsen. Say that 5 times fast, I dare you. Then Steve Paulsen in the 332, Don Dolson in the 03. And Dolson sliding back right now as here comes that's the 80 of Tim Klaus working on the 44 of Gamillion. Gamillion not having a time of it on these restarts. Definitely not comfortable in that car. There's Mike Lane back down pit road, as is Joey Haynes and Matt Gelder. Gelder and Haynes have been on pit road for 19, almost 20 minutes, each of them currently. As the lead lap cars right now more strung out than a methadone clinic, except right here, that is Chris Sherburne in the 135 and Jason Mcfadden in the 119. It's Mcfadden on the high side, Sherburne on the low side, and just like that, Mcfadden up into the 11th spot. Rest of the field separated by half a second or more, as we've got one very slow down on the apron. Not seeing who that is right now. Looks like Tolson? No, that's Lane. Lane going back to the pits. Tolson coming out of the pits. As Greg Macanani able to get by Javier Torres to wrestle 7th spot away from him. Or 8th spot, I'm sorry, away from Torres. Again, the rest of the field pretty strung out right now as we are currently 30 to go. It'll be 29 at the stripe for your leader, this man, Brian Halleck. 2.5 to the good over his teammate, Ethan Osowski. You can see Osowski in the background there, as they are trying to make it happen here tonight. Doing everything they can to try to get every point that they possibly can for Halleck. And good news for him, 2 of his rivals in the points chase, Joey Haynes and Ozzie Milwane, both having a night they just as soon forget about. As here we go, heating up again between Macanani and Torres. Torres on the inside, as I believe that is the 114 behind them, trying to unlap himself the hard way. And yes, it is. That is your points leader, Ozzie Milwane, who is currently sitting 1 lap down. although 31 seconds to the arrears. There's a huge gap right now between Mark Mcfadden and Mike Bloomfield, or Broomhead, I should say. But Torres knows that Milwain is a lap down to him, so isn't really feeling a ton of pressure right now. Next closest battle is this one right now between Ernie Ludwig and Greg Macanani. That's Ludwig in the blue and red, Macanani in the purple and black. As again, ladies and gentlemen, I do thank you for joining us here tonight. I do apologize for all the issues we have been seeing with somebody that hopefully will lose their YouTube account. You can only hope that that happens. Oh no. Well, that is not what we wanted to hear. Oh! And that was Ozzie Milwain. And just it looked like ever so slight contact. I think he had to chase it and just could not get that car corrected. Let's take a look from another camera angle here. Let's take a look at what the blimp picked. No, let's take a look and see what the chopper picked up. So we're going to roll that one back again. Here they are going into 3, and just it looked like net code, and unfortunately, ouch. That is going to do it for Milwain, unfortunately, I think. Oh, heavy right side damage to the 114. Let's bring out one of the high-speed drones and see what happened here. Let's show that again. Yeah, I could have rolled my fat crippled ass between those two cars. That was pure net code. And we are back live. And looks like Milwain gonna bring it down pit side. But that was a rough one. You never want to, see that happen for anybody. But good grief, Ozzie Milwain was looking to clinch the championship, and that just made that job ever so much more difficult. As looks like we might be getting a restart with 20 to go. Possibly. As allegedly, Ozzie Milwain just clinched the championship. Allegedly. We're going to get confirmation before we go off the night. But still a lot to race for. Brian Halleck trying to garner as many points as he possibly can right now. with Joey Haynes, who was second in points coming into tonight, currently in the pits. And there was only a 2-point gap between Haynes and Halleck. Chris Sherburne was only 10 points back from Halleck in fourth. So there's a possibility that Sherburne could make some headway and get on the final step of the season finale podium. So let's see how this one plays out, as we are currently 21 to go. We should get the green with 19 to go. And we currently have, looks like, 13 cars on the lead lap. Brian Halleck, Ethan Osowski, Jonathan Diggs, Jeremy Morrison, Stephen Paulsen, Don Dolson, Maurice Gamillion back on the lead lap and back into your top 10. So good run for the 44. Javier Torres getting that car fixed. Currently sitting up 17, as is Greg Macanani. Jason McSparron in 10th. And then Chris Sherburne up 20 spots from his starting position. Mark Mcfadden and Ernie Ludwig rounding out your lead lap cars in 12th and 13th. As the lights do go out on the pace car, Halleck going to have the button one more time. We are currently 20 to go. Going to restart with 19. And I dare say that all these cautions are helping those guys that were last down pit road on lap 137. They should be able to stretch the fuel from here to make it to the finish, but we are going to see. It should be close, but they should be able to do it. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight for the Majors American Sportsman Division Japan 300 from Twin Ring Motegi. As the field works its way into the 3-4 complex for what we hope is the final restart of the race. Halleck gonna have the button. Field coming into turn number 4. Pace car makes that hard left turn on the pit road. Halleck brings him into the red cat restart zone. Halleck pulls the trigger, gets a 2.5 car length jump over his teammate Osowski. Osowski getting a decent jump over Jonathan Diggs. Looks like there may have been some lap cars in there. And I was absolutely wrong, as Diggs, given, yes, there were some lap cars in there between Osowski and Diggs. As that is the 54 of Mike Broomhead, who is a lap down. Rest of the field getting a little bit strung out. Battle for 6th starting to heat up. As I believe that's Morrison, Dolson, Paulsen, and Gamillion all getting pretty close to each other. And there it is. Don't see who it is, but there it is. Oi. Like might have been Ethan Osowski. Yeah. Oh. Yes, it was Ethan Osowski. Let's take a look at what happened there. Oh, man. Looks like just slight contact with the lap car of Bloomhead. Oh, man, yeah. That was a rough one. So we are going to we're going to do this. We are going to show you what Ethan Osowski saw, and there is our thank God this is a simulator moment. Well, Doc, the last thing I remember was Dirt Sky, Dirt Sky, Dirt Sky, Pretty Paramedic. Yikes. Well, that was a rough one. It's heavy damage to Osowski's 033. Not something you really want to see. But, time for good news, bad news. Good news. We're going to have a 10-lap shootout when we go back to green. Bad news. We're going to have a 10-lap shootout when we go back to green. So, Halleck, Diggs, Morrison, Dolson, Paulsen, Gamillion, Torres, Macanani, McFadden, and Mcfadden. Rounding out your top 10, Ernie Ludwig and Chris Sherburne being scored as the last two cars on the lead lap in 11th and 12th. So, good news for Ethan Osowski. He did have his fast repair in his pocket. Bad news is, unfortunately, he did have to burn that fast repair and did go a lap down. So, going to be a fun one to see how this one plays out. Go ahead and let us know who you're pulling for in the live chat. I mean, so far tonight, the car to beat has been that number 3 of Brian Halleck. Jonathan Diggs having a great run. Morrison and Dolson both having good runs as well, as they sit in 3rd and 4th, respectively. Dolson actually up 19 spots from where he started this. So, great night for Don Dolson. As currently working lap 187 of 200. So lights should be going out on the iRacing pace car this next time across the stripe. So the question still remains: Halleck, Diggs, Morrison, Dolson, and Paulsen all came down pit road last on lap 137. Do they have enough fuel to make it to the end? Maurice Gamillion is in a little bit better shape. He was on lap 142. Everybody behind him, lap 159 or later. So from Javier Torres back, they should be able to make it from here. We are about to find out just who can and who cannot make it, though, as we are going to be restarting with 12 to go. As the lights are out on the pace car, Halleck going to have the button as they work their way down the Honda back straightaway one more time. We have seen some restart issues a couple of times here tonight. Had to rack them, stack them, and fire it again. And being as this is a mile and a half on a pavement track, they give us 5 caution laps to get the lineup right. So Not something I'm looking forward to, as I don't believe they do overtime. As the field works its way through 3 and 4, pace car makes the left turn onto pit road. Halleck brings him into the Red Cat restart zone. Halleck pulls the trigger, 3.5 car lengths to the good. John Diggs not getting the restart he needed. Jeremy Morrison right there as well, as Paulsen and Gamillion going slugfest right now for the final spot in the top 5. Everybody else pretty strung out, as we are going to be 11 to go this next time across the stripe for your leader, Brian Halleck. Battle starting to heat up, though, as Mcfadden and Macanani throwing haymakers at each other. And it's Mcfadden in the 119, Macanani in front of him. And the battle behind him is not for position, as here we go. Dolson and Paulsen going after it right now, and they got Gamillion right there in tow, as is Javier Torres. And Ozzie Milwane has decided to finally call it a night and put it on the haulers. We are 10 to go. And there goes Paulsen to the inside of Dolson, as Gamillion looks to the inside of Torres right behind him. Gamillion with a little bit better run wrestles the spot away, as that is Ernie Ludwig and Mark Mcfadden going hammering, as the 033 of Osowski flashes by them. McFadden on the high side, able to wrestle the spot away. That is for the final spot in the top 10. They were 3 wide for a second there. That's why we went and looked, as all Brian Halleck has to do is not run out of fuel, as Morrison looks to the inside of Diggs going into 1. Down on the low side is Morrison. Diggs on the high side, able to defend and carry the momentum. Morrison just stalled that car out, trying to jump to the extreme low side. 4 car lengths to the good for Diggs over Morrison right now, as we are 7 to go this time across the stripe. Your leader, Brian Halleck. Battle is for second between Morrison and Diggs. This time, Morrison with a little bit better run, able to wrestle the spot away. Diggs going to battle back, coming off a 2, though. In the slipstream, down the back straightaway they come. Halleck, though, has flat checked out. 2.5 seconds to the good over this battle, as we are 6 to go. And everybody in the top 5, last was down pit road on lap 137. So they're all in the same boat. It'll be 5 to go for your leader, Halleck, as Morrison and Diggs continue to try to figure out what they've got to do to finish in front of the other one. Coming off of turn number 4, Diggs with a little bit better run, closes the gap up, looks to the inside, going into 1. Tries to full send it mode. Morrison tries to shut the door and does. Coming off of 2. They've got to get it sorted out pretty quick, because here comes Don Dolson. Dolson on a charge, looking to get up there with his teammate to get into the podium. Oh, hang on to her, son. Morris, and there it goes. Well then, Jeremy Morrison getting it all wrong, coming off of turn number 4, chases it down the track, keeps it out of the wall, keeps it out of other cars. Aye. And just as I say that, he tags the outside wall. Everybody taking evasive action to avoid him. So that's the good news there. But that is going to bring out another caution, and I'm not receiving word that we are going to go green-white checker. So that could be the race. We might be finishing this one under yellow. So Brian Halleck has led a ton of laps here tonight. Started from the pole, has done everything he could to gain as many points as he possibly can to try to better his chances of moving forward in the points championship, as we are going to be 2 to go this time across the stripe, and we should be receiving word no green-white checker finish. This will finish under caution. So Halleck, Diggs, and Paulsen, as long as none of the three of them run out of fuel. Jonathan Diggs up 13 spots from where he started. Going to come home in second place. Steve Paulsen started 17 spots back from where he's currently finishing in third. Don Dolson up 19. Javier Torres up 20. And that rounds out your top 5. As it's definitely been a race of attrition here tonight from Twin Ring Motegi. This track, never an easy one to get around, especially with the temperatures. Track temperature has hovered right around 80 degrees, but it's that 14-mile-an-hour wind that's been wreaking havoc coming off of turn number 4 that's been giving these guys fits all night long. Just over 100-degree track temperature all night long, and again, that greasiness that happens when you get the track temperature up that high, that has led to just about every issue we have seen here tonight. One of the guys that has stayed out of trouble is the 3 of Brian Halleck, as the white flag is in the air one more time around. Halleck just has to not run out of fuel, and he's got this one. So Halleck, Diggs, and Paulsen, you're going to be your top 3 here tonight at Twin Ring Motegi. And Ozzie Milwain and Joey Haynes have both decided to put it on the hauler, so we are not going to be able to talk to either of those gentlemen here tonight. As field working its way down the back straightaway for the last time. As Brian Halleck doing everything he can to gain as many points as he possibly can. Haynes not having the night he was hoping for, and neither was Ozzie Milwain. We are going to wait for final confirmation in the point standings before we go off the air tonight. And for some odd reason, Mike Lane just went to the pits. Looks like he has decided to call it. And there is your checkered flag. Your winner here tonight in the major sportsman division, or American sportsman division, Japan 300 from Twin Ring Motegi, the number 3, Brian Halleck. I can find the header that I want. Brian Halleck. And John, are you back with us?
Yeah, I can finish this up here with you, Tony.
That sounds like a grand idea, sir. If I could have you take back over the controls.
Yeah, not an issue. You can consider them mine here. Quite an interesting race, Tony. I was listening to it the whole time, and you never really seemed like you had a dull moment for this one, did you?
No, and it definitely did not go the way that Evolve SimSport Academy wanted it to go. I know that, as both Milwain and Haynes had nights they just as soon forget, and Brian Halleck just led a boatload of laps here tonight.
Yeah, that's what I heard for a majority of this one. We got going on the front stretch right here.
Looks like, and yes, it is. That is Forge Racing Sport taking a team victory lap with with Brian. So getting all 5 of those cars side by side, not an easy thing to do, but granted, they're not at speed right now. They're only just kind of idling in first gear around here, but definitely a team effort here tonight. They worked very well together to get Halleck the needed victory to try to bolster his position in the final point standings. So definitely something to be proud of for that entire team, as we are currently waiting for drivers to get into the waiting room so we can do some post-race interviews. But John, this being our last race with these guys of the season, we're hearing unconfirmed reports that Ozzie Milwain may have clinched the championship here tonight.
Well, again, I kind of came on late in the season, Tony, based on the merger and everything that went on kind of behind the scenes. But they never really disappointed. Different car, different track, always a fun show, and Brian Halleck was always up front. And he's up front today. Milwain, we saw a lot from him. However, he's finishing 20th here. Do you mind explaining what happened in this race? Because I didn't realize that.
He was running in second place. He had looked to the inside. Mark Mcfadden was leading. Milwain had looked to the inside coming off of turn number 4. And turn 4 has been calamity corner all night. And guys tried to squeeze the power on a little too aggressively. And they've had to chase it down the track every time. The only problem is McFadden had to... Wow. That's a donut gone wrong.
Ooh. Oh, my.
Oh, good grief. Well, that's not exactly what he was hoping to do. But
that is
yeah,
one celebration right there.
Uh-huh. But anyways, they were coming off of turn number 4. McFadden was leading, and Milwain looked to his inside. Only thing is, McFadden had to chase it down the track. Milwain was there, and they both ate the pit wall, and that pretty much spelled doom for Milwain.
Well, so that'll explain the difference there. But I shouldn't say that I'm really not surprised to see Brian Halleck up front. Other names like Stephen Paulsen in third place. Javier Torres, top 5 there. Mark McFadden, 10th. See the guys that we were used to seeing in the top 10. For the most part, in the top 10, obviously, Ozzie Milwain didn't quite make it there based on what you just explained.
So right now, we are going to reach out to the man that was the class of the field here tonight at Twin Ring Motegi. Congratulations on the victory here tonight, Brian Halleck. And unconfirmed report, I believe you just took over second in points.
Yeah, I think second is about as good as I could have hoped for today. Yeah. Second is going to be it for the championship, but I enjoy the win, fourth one of the season. I think that was the most, but congrats to Ozzy on the season-long championship. He was very, very consistent and just didn't have enough.
I mean, all things considered, you and your team did everything you needed to do to make sure you got as many points here tonight as you could, and you did your part by earning the Red Cat Pole Award, by setting quick time in qualifying, and then leading as many laps as were humanly possible tonight, barring having to go pit side. But talk us through just how treacherous turn 4 was here tonight, because we saw a lot of issues coming off of 4.
Yeah, super, super sketchy. It just wanted to oversteer, and we had a lot of setups going back and forth to try to solve for that. But of course, if you solve for that, you were getting hit somewhere else, maybe not as fast in 1 and 2. So I think that the key was you really had to dedicate yourself to mashing the weight jacker in the entire race. It could really save you coming off that. But then again, you're staring down the wall for 200 laps, which is not fun, particularly if there's another car around you. But yeah, getting on the gas and not being in a straight line, it really wanted to just oversteer and like snap oversteer, and you were in the inside wall very quickly.
Absolutely. But, Brian, we're going to give the floor to you right now. Who do you need to thank for this race and this season?
Yeah, just the team in general. We thought we had it on the team championship. Got a little close after last race. If anyone following, we all DQ'd. And so the gap basically vanished. And so we had guys we were watching for in the team championship. But thank you for the Sportsman team for kind of showing up, putting the practice in. Very helpful. Thank you to Chris for getting us set up properly. And also the pro guys. They wrapped up their championship last round, but they were here for support like all week, helping us, getting us ready. And so we are very proud of doing the double pro and sport team championships. And then for the sport team, that's 2 years in a row. So we're all very happy about that. But again, I want to say congrats to Ozzy on the individual championship. He knew I was gunning for him, but the points just didn't work out. But I appreciate the broadcasters as well. It's been a good season, and I hope you all enjoyed it too.
Absolutely. And Brian, best of luck to you next season.
Thank you.
So that was our winner. And joining us now is the man who finished second place tonight, driver of the 04, Mr. Jonathan Diggs. And John, I all things considered, you can't be too disappointed coming home with a car in one piece.
No, not at all. Considering I'm usually never this far up in the fight, I'm more than happy.
Well, it looks like we finally found a track car combination that really suits your driving style, because you had a strong vehicle all night long, up 13 spots. That's not easy to do at this track.
Well, I got to thank or shout out to the CIS League, because I'm a member there. So this is the car we run, so I'm quite familiar with it.
Well, you put on an excellent show here tonight, but talk us through those closing laps, because you almost got caught up in a couple dumpster fires not of your own doing.
Well, just trying to mind my business. You're correct. You just kind of see what's going on in front of you. Just taking everything in consideration, hopefully that they stay more to the left and I can go through the right. Though there was one where it looks like I was trying to overtake one person, and going into turn 1, and he kind of came down on me. I kind of hate the fact that we touched, and I think he lost it at that point. But that's racing.
Absolutely. But John, moving forward, looking forward to next season. Who do you need to thank for this season before we let you go?
Well, I just got to thank all the guys at Team Kinetic. They've taken a average driver and helped me improve immensely to where this could be even possible tonight. That's where everything goes.
All right, Jonathan Diggs, congratulations on the podium here at Twin Ring Motegi. Looking forward to seeing what you can do next season.
Thanks for having me.
So that, unfortunately, we do not have Stephen Paulsen, and Ozzie Milwane is not in the building either. So, unfortunately, that is going to about do it for the interview portion of tonight. But, John, recapping the season, I mean, we have seen just about every conceivable car and track combination that makes sense. No real wild stuff like, the Nissan GTP on a short track oval. That just, no. But we've seen short track racing with short track cars. We've seen super speedway racing with super speedway cars. We've seen the modern Indy car. We've seen, this earlier incarnation of the Indy car. We've seen the Lotus 79 on track. We've seen the Lotus 49 on track. This series has a little bit of something for everybody. And if you want to come home with a championship or finish high in the standings, you really need to have your poop in a group. And, the guys that finished up there, week in and week out, they were contending for those podiums.
Yeah, what I would just say is it's just such a unique league. You have to be versed or learn and practice in many different types of disciplines in order to perform well in this series. And that probably has a large bit to do with the reason they're so well known. You've got to be good in Cup cars. You've got to be good in Indy cars. You've got to be able to win in Miatas. It's just a mix of everything. That's what makes this series very unique and a lot of fun. And every single time I called a race with you this year, and this one, which I was kind of here in the background for, I apologize about that, folks. But it's been a different car.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what makes the series fun to drive in, to commentate, and to watch, because you heard Jonathan say that normally he's not up here, but being as this is a car he's very familiar with, he was able to do a lot better here tonight. And again, up 13 spots from where he started on a track that's inherently difficult to pass on. He was able to keep the car out of trouble, and that was the biggest key tonight, was keeping the car out of trouble and not getting caught up in other people's dumpster fires.
Yeah, just based on this track, it just kind of breeds incidents when everybody gets bunched back up together. I realized a couple times there's a caution. There typically ended up being another caution after that, and then things kind of got settled out, and drivers were able to kind of get on with the race, But fast and wide track, but track's not that wide when you're going 180 miles an hour. So, sounds like it was an excellent race. Tony, kudos to you for doing it for the most part single man on your own. I really appreciate you on that one. But whenever you're ready, we can get through the whole race results for this field. 31 drivers started today. Brian Halleck comes home victorious, and he always seems to be in the top 5, race in, race out.
Well, he had a couple problems earlier on, but Jonathan Diggs coming home in second, Steve Paulsen coming home in third, Don Dolson holding on for fourth, Javier Torres, great result for him, up 20 spots from where he started, coming home in the number 5 spot. Maurice Camillion in 6th, Jason McFadden in 7th, 8th going to Ernie Ludwig, Greg Macanani in 9th, Mark Mcfadden rounding out your top 10, Chris Sherburne in 11th, and Jeremy Morrison rounding out your lead lap cars in 12th. Robert DeLoche, first car one or more laps down in 13th. Ethan Osowski, not the night he was hoping for, coming home in 14th. Tim Klaus in 15th. Robert Covey in 16th. 17th going to James Daugherty. Brett Trauson in 18th. 19th going to Mike Broomhead. Ozzie Milwane, your series champion, coming home in 20th. Mike Lane in 21st. Ron McPherson, 22nd. 23rd going to Joey Haynes. Matt Gelder in 24th. Brian Schriebner in 25th. Mike Oliet in 26th. Joe Homan in 27th. 28th going to Rob Courtney. Gerald Gilbert in 29th. Dino Vella in 30th. 31st going to Anthony Butte. Butte being the last car to actually take the green. Dan Davis did not start in 32nd. So that is going to do it for us tonight. That is also going to do it for us for the season for the majors. Be sure to join us tomorrow night at 8:20 Eastern Time for the series finale for the Rowdy Energy Cup Series as they go to Phoenix in the next-gen car. Going to be an interesting one. Still a lot to play for. We will see you tomorrow night. For Mr. Jonathan Leach, this is Tony Trapasso reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.